Hi, did you know anyone can have depression? In fact, about 1 out of every 6 adults will have a depression episode sometime in their life. That means 2 out of every 12 or 3 out of every 18 people you may pass throughout the day may be having a depression episode. Or somewhere in their life they had one. Depression affects about 16 million adults every year. Think about it. You could be at a party with 30 to 40 people, and 5 or 6 of them may be having an episode or coming through one or just beginning to start a depression episode. If you're watching this, I'm about to inform you a bit about depression, which I know a little bit about from my time in the Marine Corps. In fact, after losing a friend to suicide, I became depressed, and if it wasn't for Sergeant Valentine, I don't know where I would be today. Hi, I'm Raymond, and I'm going to be doing an informal speech about what depression is, who is affected by it, and how you can help. So let's get started. So what is depression? Depression, usually people think of it as somebody just feeling bad and they're going through rough times, so they feel bad about themselves or whatever. But it's actually much more than that. Depression, also called clinical depression or depressive disorder, is a mood disorder that causes distressing symptoms that affects how you feel, think, and handle daily activity, such as sleeping, eating, or working. To be diagnosed with depression symptoms must be present most of the day, nearly every day, for at least 2 weeks. Scientists have basically broken them down into two main depression, titles. One is major depression, having symptoms of depression most of the day, nearly every day, for at least 2 weeks, that interfere with your ability to basically do everyday stuff like sleeping, working out, eating, enjoying life. An episode can occur only once in a person's lifetime, but more often a person has several episodes. The second, persistent depressive disorder, having symptoms of depression that last for at least 2 years. A person diagnosed with this form of depression may have episodes of major depression along with periods of less symptoms. Which brings me to my next point. Who is affected by depression? The most obvious answer is the individual, who could be you, could be your mom, could be your friends, could be the person driving in the car next to you. It could be anybody. And in fact, there's so little known about depression that statistically 1 in every 6 people will have depression episodes in their lifetime, like as I said in the beginning. According to the CDC, the MHA, and the NIMH, since the cause of depression can be from any kind of situation, it is not just limited to adults. Children between 5 to 6 years of age have a 1 in 10 chance to be diagnosed. Teens around the age of 14 can develop major health problems, and adults of the age of 24 have a 3.25 chance of developing mental health issues. The second answer is the family around the individual. The individual is not the only one that's affected. The family too is, because they don't know what to say, what to do, how to be there, because usually they don't do the research or they just don't understand it. And that even goes for the friends of the individuals who are affected by this. They usually separate themselves because they can't understand why this person's acting this way, or why don't they just be happy instead of being sad all the time. That's usually also because they don't understand what depression is as well. So two of the things that the CDC, the NIMH have explained that there's so much more that you can do, which brings me to my final point. How can you help those that have depression? The most important question to ask yourself is, what can you do? Listening and being patient is a start to helping them find help. According to the MHA and IMH, you need to listen to the individual, as it helps them know what treatment's going to help them, such as, do they need to be on pills or medication, or do they just need a therapist to talk to, or he could be a combination of both. And some unofficial medical treatments can be meditation, and acupuncture, but those don't always seem to work. For the most part, all you need to do really is just to be there for the individual. They need someone to listen to them, so that they can find help, and they can see that people do care. Because when you're in that state of mind, you tend to think nobody cares or nobody listens. But it's actually, people do. You just can't see it. So I hope this informational has helped you understand a little bit about depression, and understanding what depression is, who is affected by it, and how you can help is only the start. I hope that my article has helped you understand a little bit about depression and how to find help for you, your family, or the friend that might be going through it, and know that you're not alone. Before the individual does something to hurt themselves, or something they regret. I'm Raymond. If you need any help, please find it, and thank you for reading my article. Have a good night. Scientists used to believe that it was just a disorder or a chemical imbalance inside your brain, and in theory you could have just take some pills to rebalance it. But they've come to learn that it's actually so much more than that, and it's even harder to explain because they've not yet figured out everything about depression. In fact, they're still researching it. Even the CDC and the NIH and the NIMH, which is National Institute of Mental Health, and the other two, they've all three have explained that they do not know or understand fully what depression is.